It is an event we've never seen before. Today, the Illinois Senate begins the first impeachment trial of a sitting governor. That means no one knows exactly what to expect. Thomas Glasgow is a former Cook County State's attorney, now in private practice. And Thomas joins us here this morning to explain a little bit more about the proceedings. Nice to have you here. Good morning. We have heard repeatedly now the governor calling this process unfair. He says he can't defend himself properly during this trial, so he's not going to do it. Who presides over all of this?
The way this is set up for the impeachment, it's not like a criminal trial. There is a sitting judge, the Supreme Court, the Chief Judge of the Supreme Court, Thomas Fitzgerald, will preside over this. However, the judge is actually the Senate. He will, the Senate can ask questions through the judge. They write questions. Chief Justice Fitzgerald will read them to the witnesses, but any ruling that Judge Fitzgerald makes can be overruled by the Senate. And the Senate is also the jury in the matter. There's the situation of what's the burden of proof. And the burden of proof in this is really undefined. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not a presumption of innocence. There's not a clear and convincing or preponderance of the evidence.
This is not a criminal trial, so the rules are created really by the legislature, right?
That's correct. The Constitution is vague as to what the standard is and what the rules are. The Senate has set down the rules that were patterned after the Clinton impeachment hearings, where Clinton was acquitted of the impeachment article from the House, U.S. House of Representatives.
What do the governor and his attorneys gain by not going to the impeachment trial?
They don't subject their case to any kind of cross-examination. The prosecutor, Mr. Ellis, is going to be putting on the case for the government. They're going to be presenting all their witnesses. They're going to be presenting their evidence. And by doing this, they don't tip their hand for any kind of the federal trial. However, the media blitz that he's got going on definitely doesn't help him in any subsequent proceedings or in this proceeding, as they have already indicated that they're going to be using some of the interview on radio in the proceedings to substantiate the validity of the federal wiretaps. Subsequently, any statements that they may make during the course of the trial or during the media blitz could be used at a criminal trial later.
Now, were you surprised, though, personally, as an attorney, were you surprised that he chose not to defend himself at the trial?
I actually was. You may want to test the government's witnesses. It would give you the chance to talk with them, the chance to decide what their testimony is. The fact that he has gone on to do the subsequent media campaign really gives him the benefit of being able to give his story on his terms as opposed to under the terms of the Senate.
Now, looking further down the road, how will an impeachment affect his criminal trial?
The impeachment that's going on now, I don't think is going to affect his trial substantially, because the evidence is not going to be any different than what's presented at the Senate hearings right now. I think a subsequent criminal trial, if he were to present witnesses or present testimony or himself testify, which I don't think is very likely, would affect his criminal trial profoundly.
And we're looking at this possibly lasting just for the week, since now he has chosen not to be at the trial, right?
That's correct. And if he were to resign, it could be over this morning. The point would be moot. However, I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to be using the governor's office in order to help project the image that he wants to project for that subsequent criminal trial.
Wow, history certainly unfolding before our eyes. We'll be standing by. Thomas, thank you so much for coming in this morning and sharing some of the details with us. Right now, we're